The laughter rang out, too sharp, too loud. Forks scraped softly against porcelain, wine glasses tilted, and the candles trembled to the rhythm of our family's cheer. Then the waitress leaned in, closer than she should have, her shadow slicing through the warm glow. She slipped a folded note into my palm, her voice barely more than a whisper. "Don't drink that." My heart stopped. I didn't blink. I didn't breathe. I just smiled at the joke my son had told, and, without a pause, switched my glass with my daughter-in-law's. She didn't notice. No one did. But I watched her lips touch the rim. Her throat tightened as she swallowed what had been poured for me. 5 minutes later, her laughter faltered. Her hands began to shake. She excused herself, pale and sweating, while my family's voices shifted from joy to confusion. The storm I had been waiting for had finally arrived. I still remember the first time I saw her. She shone. My son had brought her home, his grin wide with the certainty only the young can carry. She was polite, charming, clever with her words. She held my gaze like someone who understood respect. I gave her my trust. I wanted to believe in her back then. I wanted to believe my son had chosen well, that the woman at his side would guard him as fiercely as I always had. She laughed with me in the kitchen, leaned close to share secrets, called me her second mother. I opened my arms. I opened my home. What a fool I was. The first crack was small, a misplaced receipt in my son's jacket pocket. 2 glasses of wine, 2 entrees, 1 hotel. His explanation was clumsy, rehearsed. But I knew my son. He stuttered when he lied. She didn't. So I watched. Patterns surfaced. Late night stretching past dawn. Bank withdrawals that made no sense. Whispers cut short when I entered the room. And then her mistake. A message meant for him that landed on my phone instead. 3 words, venom wrapped in silk. She suspects nothing. That was the night I stopped being blind. That was the night the mother in me died, and the strategist was born. I didn't confront her. Not then. Rage is messy. Rage leaves fingerprints. I needed patience, precision, timing. So I smiled wider, hugged her longer, praised her in front of everyone. I let her think she still had me fooled. And in the quiet hours, I gathered everything. Records, photos, witnesses. I built a cage with bars she couldn't see. And then I learned the final truth. It wasn't just betrayal. It was greed. Insurance papers with my name delicately forged. A payout that would go to her if anything happened to me. She hadn't been trying to take my son. She'd been trying to erase me. So I set the table myself. My birthday dinner. Every candle placed with care. Every glass filled. Every plate arranged just so. I asked her to pour the wine herself so she'd feel in control. So she'd never guess I already knew. I even left her an opening. A chance to hesitate. A chance to walk away. But she didn't. She leaned forward, steady and sure, sliding the glass toward me like a kiss. That was when the waitress appeared. A stranger, but not really. A favor I'd arranged weeks before. Her note was a cue. My hand did the rest. Minutes later, she stumbled back into the dining room, her face slick with sweat, her lips pale. My son rushed to her, fear twisting across his face. "What's wrong? What's happening?" I sat still, napkin folded neatly in my lap, and said nothing. She looked at me, truly looked, and in that silence she understood. Her eyes widened, her mouth opened, but no words came. She knew. She knew the drink she prepared for me now burned in her veins. I held her gaze until the paramedics came, until her body was carried from the room, until the whispers began to spread to the family like wildfire. Not one person suspected me. Not one. They called it an accident. They always do when the story belongs to the survivor. My son wept for her, mourned her, but never turned suspicion on me. How could he? I was the grieving mother, the unlucky one who had almost been poisoned. Almost. Now, when I sit alone in the quiet of my home, I replay it. Her hand on the glass. My hand switching it. The look in her eyes when she realized the game was over and she had lost. I feel no guilt. Guilt is for the innocent. What I feel is balance, justice, delivered not by the law but by the very hand she had tried to erase. On my birthday, Surrounded by family, I was meant to die. Instead, I was reborn. And she was the one who vanished from the table.